Should you get a chameleon as a pet? The answer is maybe. Chameleons are some of the most fascinating animals that you could bring into your home, but they're not like dogs and cats. They won't cuddle with you and they won't fetch a ball. They are beautifully and challengingly different. And so let's start by asking the question, with what type of person would a chameleon thrive? Checklist item 1, you crave a challenge. Chameleons are perfect for you if you're the type of person who enjoys a challenge. They aren't plug-and-play pets. Every day can bring a new puzzle. Why is my chameleon at the bottom of the cage? Why won't my chameleon eat his crickets? Why are the leaves wilting? Some people get stressed by that. But if you're the type to see those as invitations to grow, then you're going to enjoy this journey. Because each of those problems that you solve brings you closer to understanding your chameleon and their needs. You're going to be able to better understand how to create and maintain the environment in which they thrive. It's the satisfaction of cracking a natural code. Chameleon keeping is going to encourage you to grow. You're going to have to start thinking like a biologist. And if that sounds exciting more than it sounds exhausting, then you might be the type of person who would do great with a chameleon. The next checklist item is that you enjoy building worlds. Chameleons just don't live in cages, they live in environments. And that means if you're the type of person who enjoys tinkering, building, and adjusting, then you're going to do well in this hobby. Setting up a chameleon habitat is part science and part art. You'll think about basking spots, humidity gradients, different feeders, where to place those branches, what plants to use, and do you need a soil floor? And every time you change your environment, you're going to watch your chameleon respond. They'll go to sleep in a new spot, they'll drink the droplets off of the leaves, and you'll know that you're the one who made it happen. If you love projects that combine creativity and science, then a chameleon is going to be a very rewarding pet for you. The next checkpoint is that you celebrate subtle beauty. With a chameleon, the rewards aren't loud and obvious. They're quiet, delicate, almost secret, and that's what makes them special. One of the most beautiful things about keeping chameleons is the small victories. When you notice that their colors are a little bit brighter today, they're more hydrated than they were last month, and they don't react as much when you walk by their cage, and maybe they'll even take a food item from your fingers. For someone who expects big displays of affection, that may seem underwhelming. But for the chameleon keeper, who treasures subtlety, it's magical. You'll find yourself slowing down and appreciating moments that most people will overlook. Chameleons invite you to notice life at a different scale. And if that kind of quiet beauty excites you, you're never going to be bored in your own home with a chameleon. The next checklist item is that you're into bugs and plants too. Keeping a chameleon isn't just about the chameleon, it's about the environment that surrounds the chameleon and the environment that nourishes your chameleon. Your chameleon is going to thrive on a varied diet of different kind of insects, crickets, roaches, worms, flying insects. And this means you're going to be keeping live feeders in the house, and not only keeping them, but you're going to be feeding them, nourishing the food that will nourish your chameleon. So you need to at least tolerate insects, if not be excited about learning about insects as well. And plants aren't just decorations for chameleons, they're part of the environment that takes care of your chameleon. Your plants are going to provide drinking services, hiding spots, climbing areas, and you'll need to know how to take care of plants as well. For many chameleon keepers, this becomes a large part of the joy of keeping chameleons. They don't just keep a chameleon, they keep an environment. And if the thought of learning about plants and insects excites you, well, then you're halfway there already. Keeping a chameleon is about all of this. Now let's go over some checklist items that would say that a chameleon is not the right pet for you. So a chameleon is not the right pet for you if you want a cuddly companion. If what you're looking for is a pet that runs up to greet you and curls up in your lap, then a chameleon's gonna disappoint you. They don't bond a way that a dog or cat does. They don't want to be held or stroked. In fact, handling usually stresses them out. That doesn't mean they don't recognize you. Many will grow comfortable with your presence and learn that you're not a threat. Their version of trust is letting you exist nearby while they go about their day. That's the gift. Not cuddling, not affection, just tolerance. And maybe excitement when they learn that you mean food. So if what you need is a daily dose of touch and affection, a chameleon won't fill that role. They're best for keepers that find a joy watching from a distance and respecting boundaries. If you need snuggles, that's fine. You're just going to want to look elsewhere. Chameleons are not the pet for you if you need your affection returned. It's natural to want to feel loved by your pet. We care for them. We create this environment for them. We do so much to make their food nutritious and varied. And we hope for some sign that they love us back. Unfortunately, with chameleons, that sign is not going to come. They just don't think in those terms. Now, as I said, they will recognize you and they will recognize that you mean food. And so they may actually get excited when you're coming to the cage and you're offering a food item to them. But that doesn't mean they love you. And we have to be very careful not to assume that means they love us. It's just that they developed a trust around us and they know that we bring food. If your happiness depends on being loved back in a human sense, then you're going to be frustrated with a chameleon. Or worse, you're going to be pretending something exists that doesn't, and you're going to be inadvertently stressing your chameleon. A chameleon will thrive under your care, but they'll never show gratitude the way a dog does. The beauty is in what they are, not what they give back emotionally. If an emotional connection is important to you, then you need to look elsewhere. A chameleon won't give it to you. Chameleon is not the pet for you if you're looking for a cheap pet. One of the biggest misconceptions is people look at a reptile and think, that's going to be inexpensive. The truth is that the animal itself may be the cheapest part of the entire purchase. What we're trying to do with a chameleon is recreate a section of the tree that's in the middle of the air, and we're trying to recreate that into our living room. We need lighting systems, hydration systems, UVB, and add to that the variety of feeders and the vet visits, and the costs do start adding up. And the problem is if you cut corners, your chameleon will suffer. And this is why many beginners fail. The money you save up front is spent in vet costs, and often it's too late. If you're going to be involved with chameleons, make sure you're able to spend that money up front to do it right. The good news is that the people who do that up front often find that their chameleon is very hardy for many years. A chameleon isn't a budget pet. It's an investment in creating an environment. Done right, it's worth every dollar, but it's not cheap. Chameleons are not the right pet for you if you expect easy mode. Chameleons are not set and forget type of pets. They require daily check-in and daily maintenance. While it's true that once you get them set up, they're actually pretty stable, that does require daily checking to make sure it stays stable. You need to check hydration, check for signs of illness, make sure that your environment is staying correct. Sometimes that means replacing equipment, sometimes that means changing routines, and we don't always get it right the first time. So it requires constant tweaking. For some people that sounds exhausting, and for other people that's most of the fun. But if you want is a pet that you feed maybe once every week or two, then a chameleon isn't it. They demand presence, they reward attention, and if you're not ready for that level of commitment, then it's best to just put off getting a chameleon for when that does fit into your life. The bottom line is chameleons aren't an easy pet. So the question is, should you get a chameleon as a pet? The answer is, if you saw yourself in that first list of checklist items, well then you may be a very good chameleon keeper and well, you've come to the right place. If some of the things in that second half of the checklist resonated with you, then maybe you ought to pass up a chameleon for something that more closely matches what you want. If you're still struggling because a chameleon seems so cool, but you really wanted to hold your pet, then that's okay. Chameleons are kind of a unique animal and they're not for everyone. Or maybe a chameleon would be better at a different stage of your life. Whatever it is, don't compromise what you want from a pet. It's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the chameleon. If you went through this video and you decided, yeah, you know what? A chameleon is for me. I'm excited about this. Well, then I have some resources for you for your next step. The first step is get to know more and get to be part of the community. I do 2 live shows a week on my Chameleon Academy Live Channel. My quotes office hours are Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific And class session is on Saturday at 12 noon Pacific. These are live events, which means that you can ask questions and get the answers right away. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine. Just hang out with the community. The chat is generally hopping because we've got a great group of people. Now, this is on a different channel. You're watching this on my Chameleon Academy video channel. I have a Chameleon Academy Live Channel, and that is going to be linked down below in the description. Everyone is welcome. Just come, hang out. You don't even have to let anybody know you're there, but I'll be there, and a lot of your new friends are going to be there too. Next, I have a newsletter that comes out on a regular basis. I know when you're starting to learn about chameleons, it's like a fire hose of information. Well, this newsletter is a nice, easy way to slide into learning about some of these chameleon topics. It just shows up into your inbox a couple of times a month, and you get a sense for what's going on in the chameleon community. And finally, if you're ready to start with chameleons, I designed a cage system specifically for chameleon keepers. They're sold through the Dragonstrand Chameleon Caging Company, and these cages are designed to have the right ventilation, the chimney effect, dragon ledges so you can mount plants and branches to the sides of the cage, a drainage tray so the water can go through the floor and be stored away from the chameleon, the poop, and the escaped feeders. And there's even a stand that allows you to create a bioactive system for your chameleon. These cage systems have the answers designed in to questions that you didn't know to ask until you've got everything set up and you say, oh, wait a minute, what's this? Well, the Dragonstrand cages have taken care of that already because I designed it for chameleon people. Of course, the links are in the description below for you to check out. If you're starting with chameleons, you're in the right place, and I'm glad you're here. And with that, I'm going to sign off. My name is Bill Strand. You've been watching the Chameleon Academy. Take care of yourself. Be excellent to each other. I'll see you next time.